Hello everybody, welcome to WineUpTV. I'm your host Wayne. I'm here with Pat Graham from Cerulean, and we're going to be tasting through his wines in a couple of minutes. Hello everybody, welcome back to WineUpTV. I'm your host Wayne, and on today's show, Pat Graham from Cerulean. You know, Pat, tell us a little bit about you and the label and why you decided to name it Cerulean.
Well, that's a good question. Cerulean means all things heavenly, and we try to use organic grapes. So we start for organic grapes at the vineyard, and we try to keep the process as clean as we can along the way.
Okay. Now we're in Hood River, Oregon, everybody, and Hood River is about 60 miles east of Portland. It's about 30 miles to the Dalles from here. And as you go, what did you say, a mile? Every mile you go from?
Every mile you go from here, you lose an inch of rain.
An inch of rain.
So you're about 15 miles to the Dalles, and then after that, it gets down to 14 inches a year.
That's it.
Yep.
So it's pretty much desert once you go about 15 minutes east of, or 15 miles east of here. Very interesting. For those who've never been to Hood River, this is a groovy place to come. This is almost like it used to be, if not still is, the windsurfing capital of the world.
Yep, pretty much.
It's right here. It's where the Columbia River kind of channels all the winds, and it's just a fantastic place to come visit. How many microbreweries are in town?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think there's 5 of them.
Okay, 5 microbreweries. And the population of Hood River?
6,500 in the winter, but it's more like 50,000 in the summer.
Great. Yeah, it's a good little spot. You know, again, it's an hour east of Portland, and you can pass by Multnomah Falls, Bonneville Dam. There's a lot to do on the way out here, and take full advantage of it. All right, so let's talk about you, your philosophy on grapes, the different wines that you make, and your program.
Okay, great. Like I said, we start with organic wines or organic grapes. Everything along the way, we keep it pretty clean. We keep all the finishing agents out of it, and we just try to make wines that taste good and are very tasty. So that's kind of what we do. We make a lot of Pinots, Chardonnay, Grüner Veltliner, Gewürztraminer, Riesling, and the 4 that we're going to start with today here.
And your total case production?
About 2,000 cases.
Wonderful. I noticed your Pinot Gris, and I don't know why more winemakers in the Willamette Valley aren't doing this. He actually makes an off-colored Pinot Gris, which is like a salmon color. And if you guys know, Pinot Gris grapes are kind of funky looking to start with. They're not like Pinot Noir, really, really dark. But you're the only one I know that does make a pink Pinot Gris, as it should be made. So it's very interesting. All right, a little bit about your Chardonnay.
Okay. A lot of people come in the door and they're like, oh, I don't like Chardonnay, it's too oaky. And I'm like, really? Well, because you're going to like ours. Ours is unoaked Chardonnay. We keep it as berry flavored as we can. It has some really interesting tangerine flavors and citrus flavors. I pick up a lot of lemon. Some people think there's a little grapefruit in there, but it's just a real nice wine to have without any oak in it.
Okay, and this is a pretty famous vineyard site, the Celilo Vineyard, and it's about 1,000 feet in elevation, so it's a little bit higher than you'd normally see in the Willamette Valley, per se. And the case production on a Chardonnay, what is this right here?
We do about 200, 250.
So you don't,
250.
So you don't make a lot of these. I mean, you make 2,000 cases total, but your biggest production is what?
250.
250. That's nothing. That's nothing. All right, so tell me about the grapes from 2009. 2009 was a very warm year in the Willamette Valley, as it was up here as well. Tell us a little bit about this wine.
Okay, well, that year it started off cooler and then actually started warming up and finished out pretty nicely. So the grapes here are very well mature. They finished at about a 23 grapes, and just it's a real nice fruity grape. It tends to seem sweeter than it is, but it's just really smooth and it goes good with food.
Cheers. Let's try this. Let's get this party started. All right. That does have a little tangerine to it. Really interesting flavors. Not completely dry, but darn close. Good acid as well. And 2009, I thought, struggled a little bit with the acid, but this isn't the Willamette Valley. This is Hood River, so it's completely different. And these grapes are grown at 9,000 or 1,000 feet, so it's just different.
Yeah, our grapes up there tend to have a high acidity level, especially in the Gewürztraminers and some of the reds.
So the aging process on this Chardonnay.
Well, actually, we say it's an unoaked Chardonnay, but it was in a neutral barrel to ferment for 30 days, and then it goes into a tank, and then it sits in a bottle. So it's 2009, but it's been in the bottle since pretty much May of 2010.
And the retail?
2010.
Retail on this?
We retail that one for $25.
$25 a bottle, nice. It's a nice Chardonnay. It's round, it's crisp, it's balanced. It needs some food with it. You know, yeah, definitely.
Would you like food?
I'll have some food in a minute. Slim and I are going to go out eat here in a minute. I'm getting hungry. All right, let's move on.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would you drink this Chardonnay with Mexican food?
Dude, I just drink Pacificos with lime and Mexican food. Would I drink this Chardonnay with Mexican food? There's not much I wouldn't drink with any kind of food. You know,
that one's a hard one to pair, Mexican food. We've had a lot of people come in lately.
It is, because in Mexico you can do the really spicy Mexican food or the not so spicy. You know, it just depends on what kind of meat you're using. You know, what, is it going to be pulled pork, or is it going to be chicken, or is it going to be, you know, beef? This I think would stand up really well with fish tacos. You know, I think it's got really nice acidity to it. Maybe even a pulled pork, something, you know, on that nature. I don't know if it would pair up with mole sauce though.
We've had the Gewürztraminer with a lot of Tex-Mex,
yeah, see, that's
Thai food. And
you asked me about the Chardonnay, not the Gewürztraminer. Yeah, Gewürztraminer, absolutely. Chardonnays, I've never even paired a Chardonnay up with Mexican food. I have to do that sometime at home though.
Exactly.
All right, so again, the next wine we're going to have. Look, I love the color of this stuff, and this kind of looks like what Pinot Gris is, because if you translate Pinot Gris, you know, Pinot is of course pine cone, Gris is gray. And this has got a really, it's almost like a sherry color.
Kind of has that auburn skin.
Yeah.
You leave the skins on for 2 weeks like we did. Kind of leaves the little color behind and also leaves some tannins behind.
Sure, a little bit.
Fruitiness.
A little bit of guts.
Yeah.
I like the nose on that. It's a little floral. Got a little citrus on there. I would drink this with Mexican food. It's got a little residual sugar.
Tell you what I like it with? A cedar plank salmon. It goes really good with
There you
salmon.
go. There you go. He's asking me, and this one would be great with Mexican food. He didn't even ask me about Mexican food with this one. I think this would be great with Mexican food only because of the jalapeno, the spice, or the chipotle chilies. I think because it has a little bit of residual sugar, it would actually cut right through the heat and make these things really, really nice.
Cool.
That's just what do I know? I just shoot film shows. What do I know?
Just gotta try it.
I do have to try it. You're gonna have to send me home with some of this stuff, and I'll let you know. I'll email you. My new BFF right here. No, but I like this. Okay, so tell me a little bit about the Pinot Gris. How many acres do you guys have farmed for this? The case production on this wine?
We have about 7 acres of Pinot Gris, so we're doing all kinds of things with Pinot Gris. We're selling some.
Okay.
We're making some straight Pinot Gris that's a little drier, 0.8% residual sugar. It's really nice to go with shellfish. And then we have this one, and I think this one goes really good with the fruit salads and goes good with lots of different kinds of fishes.
That's a really nice wine. Again, it's got crisp acidity to it, and it finishes just really nice. You know, I try a lot of rosés, and I put this in a rosé category. It's a rosé of Pinot Gris, but it definitely holds up on its own. That's a good summertime sipper. Yeah. Retail on this is?
That one's $22.
$22. All right, great. Tell me about the first red.
Okay, this one here, we're going to pour as a Cabernet. Now, do you think we grow these Cabernets around here?
I would think so.
No, we don't.
Okay.
And we have really good Pinots, really good Tempranillos, a lot of whites that people crave, but we go a little farther east into that dry, deserty area, actually where the Blue Mountains start to come out. We go to Walla Walla for Cab grapes. So these are some grapes that have those minty flavors to them that you get in Walla Walla. That's kind of what we like out there.
100% varietal, or do you blend?
100%. It's a 2008. So this one here was in the barrel for 28 months. It's an American oak. Wow. A lot of the Minnesota, North Dakota guys that come in here, I tell them it's a Minnesota oak. And
yeah, it's got a real nice
toast to it.
A real nice toast, but it's also got a little spice to it, a little minty, like you said, a little bit minty.
Now that's the joke. If you drink cabs from Walla Walla, you don't have to brush your teeth. So there you go.
It's
just a little hygiene tip for you.
I'm not going to talk about girls from Kentucky.
Yeah, don't.
This is a family show. I didn't mean to irritate anybody out there that's from Kentucky.
Great wine to have on its own, or a great wine to take into some meats. Do you have one of those Traeger grills? This is a Traeger grill wine.
You know,
So,
this is interesting. It's not overly tannic. It's got real velvety tannins on it. It almost drinks like it's a Merlot. You know, with the softness of it. It's probably because of the 28 months in barrel. You know, once you start aging wine that long, you're kind of really integrating the fruit and the wood. And this is a really nice Cabernet.
thanks.
And what's the retail on this? About $10 a bottle?
Oh, we go 30 on that one.
30?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just putting it out there though. No, this is
Is that a wine show special?
Yeah, that's exactly my special. No, this is a really nice, well-made wine. I like it. Excuse me. A lot of people don't have the opportunity to leave wine in barrel for 28 months. You know, guys, when you have a wine in barrel 28 months, so you're dealing with 3 different vintages technically in your wine storage facility. So you have like the 08s, then you're taking the 09s and the 10s, and then you have to go back to the 08s, make sure you're topping off with an 08 barrel and making sure you have it maneuverable to where you can get to it. You don't make a lot of this wine, which makes it a little easier to navigate through a cellar. But you're in a position where you can just let it hang out for 28 months or 30 months or whatever. When I lived in Napa, I worked at Mondavi, my ex-wife worked at Camus, and they used to leave their wines in barrels for quite a while, 24, 36 months. So they were able to do that, and it really rounds out the wines, and it makes it really, really nice. I like this, yeah. And we just popped these corks, so, you know, this, again, you give this about another hour to decant a little bit, it's really gonna come out. You're pouring it out, I'm not, apparently.
I got more for later.
Who says I'm not taking those with me? All right, what's next?
This is a 2009 Tempranillo, so it was in the barrel for about a year.
Okay. You know,
We're kind of running out of Tempranillo every year. I don't know if it's the name, people like the name Tempranillo or whatever, but they come in looking for Tempranillo, and it's in a lot of nice restaurants too.
again, let's go back to the cab. I'm not taking anything away. I haven't tried the Tempranillo. The finish on that, it's
Still with you.
It's still there. You can always tell a great wine after you swallow it, how long it hangs around your palate.
Still chewing on it.
Yeah. No, it's really, it's got a beautiful, I love that.
A little chocolate. You want to try
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, no.
I got some chocolate in the bag next time.
All right, hey, well, the next wine we're going to try will be the Tempranillo. Let's tell us a little bit about Tempranillo. It's one of those grapes that's kind of popular around here in eastern Washington.
Right, exactly. It likes to grow at high elevation. Has a lot of the same characteristics of the Pinot Noir, but because it grows at that high elevation, it kind of gets like a berry bush. You know,
Okay.
It just grows together. The clumps are really big, the clusters, and it'll bring itself down to the ground if you let it. So we kind of trim it back a little ways, try to control it, but it's a real vigorous plant, and it'll just really take off on you. And then if there's too much berries there, it'll have a hard time maturing. But there's not a lot of Tempranillo grapes out there.
Sure.
A couple of reports I saw, there's like 55 or 60 tons of Tempranillo grapes grown
That's it.
in Washington,
Okay.
and we grow 20 tons.
So what
somebody's not reporting, or there's just not enough of it around, but people seek it out. They like that name, Tempranillo.
Tempranillo rolls right off the tongue. Okay, with the Tempranillo, like you said, it was very vigorous growing. Is that due to the rootstock you're using as well?
Probably.
Okay. Do you know what rootstock's on this Tempranillo?
I'm not sure. No.
Okay. Because I remember down in Napa, anything on St. George grew like just a weed.
Yeah.
You know, it's different rootstocks really make a difference. And what do you crop this down to?
We crop it down to about 5 tons, but it would grow at like 12 tons
Is that-
if you let it.
Okay, 5 to 12 tons. I mean, that's just, it's insane when you look at the Oregon, the Northern Willamette Pinot Noir, when they keep it between 1.75 and 2.5 tons of fruit per acre. And then when you're talking about this at 5, 10 tons, I mean, I've seen Napa Valley Cab hung, 6, 7 tons of fruit. What's your case production on this one?
We're doing about 200 cases a year.
Yeah, let's try it. You're teasing me. 200 cases, so basically everything's about 200, 250, pretty much straight across board. All right, now for those of you who don't know anything about Tempranillo, it's a grape found in Spain, in the Rioja region in Spain, and when made in a manner that's ageable, some of the great Reserva Tempranillos are just amazing. The Rioja Reservas, and I had a tasting a few weeks ago. I had a 73, a 76, and a 78. Man, dude, it was great. I'm one lucky sucker sometimes. All right, let's, I like the fruit forwardness of this wine. I mean, compared to these first three, this has just like, wow, the berries just come out. A little raspberry on that. A little blackberry. Nice spice to it. This is a good food wine. Again, all your wines are really food centric. I just drink the Cabernet on its own though. I mean, the cab, keep on that cab. I love that cab. Chardonnay was great, and I think the Pinot Gris, great Mexican food wine. Didn't I mention that before? Mexican food with the Pinot Gris and Rosé. But you know, this Tempranillo, these wines need a little bit more time to open up, but the structure's there.
Yep.
You know, the finish is there, and the retail on this is?
That one's 30 also. Same as the cab. We gotta leave these cabs and darker reds and oak a little bit longer so we get a little bit more for them, but they sure fly off the shelf. The Tempranillo is hard to keep in stock.
And your total case production, about 200 cases of the Tempranillo, and how long is it in barrel for?
That one was in barrel for a year.
You know,
Kept it in a tank for a while after that.
It's interesting, you know, talking about wines, the philosophies of making wine and the growing of the fruit. Every one of these is completely different. You know, the next wine we go to, it'll be completely different. That's the beautiful thing with wine. It's trying to find something your palate really likes and going forward from there. The cab, you know, when you leave something in barrel for 28 months, this is what happens. It integrates extremely well. Whereas Tempranillo, even though it was in barrel for a year, and you keep it in a stainless steel tank to kind of mellow out for a while, it's still got that fruity freshness to it. Beautiful. Great. Well, what do you suggest we do when we're here in Hood River? Come on, tell everybody. Do you have a windsurfing buddy that anybody want to take surf lessons? I mean, come on, plug them.
Yeah, definitely go down to the Hood River Inn and have lunch next to the river.
Okay.
And then take yourself some windsurfing lessons for sure. It's
Yeah.
great way to get out and see the river.
It is, and I'll tell you, the Columbia River right now, I have never seen it run this high.
It's pretty high.
It's insane.
Yeah,
It is absolutely insane, and the snow melt hasn't even hit yet, and we have just gobs of snow up there in the mountains this year. Anyway, Pat, dude,
Good.
you know what? It's nice coming out here to Hood River. I'm gonna have to do this again, and I'll bring Slim out here, and we'll go to a restaurant. We'll sit down and maybe do a little restaurant review.
Yeah, that sounds
What
good.
do you think?
Or else we'll get out there on the paddleboard.
Dude, I'd love to see this guy windsurf.
Yeah.
This is us old ex-athletes, right? But we have great stories though. Man, back in the day. Back in what day, right?
Somebody, yeah.
Exactly. Anyway, guys, and next time you tune in, we're gonna go to another winery and meet another winemaker. Thanks a lot for watching, and cheers.